Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Let's Talk About It, the podcast, where we talk life, faith, and everything in between. I am your host, Amber, and today we're going to be talking about the topic of comparison, like comparing yourself to others and all of that good jazz. Um, I really believe that this topic is super, super important for us to touch on, talk about, get into, because with the way that society is and like how social media goes, it's like people post the things that they want you to see. They don't post the stuff in the background, like the negative stuff. They only post positive things and the things that they want you to see. I just want to encourage everybody that is listening that no matter what you see, it's always something deeper. It's always something deeper. I feel like a lot of people also want what other people have, not knowing the things that they had to go through to get to where they're at today. Whether that's a good thing, a bad thing, whatever you are like idolizing on that person or of that person, you have no idea what they've been through to get to the place that they are today. I just feel like it's gonna be super hard for you to go after the things that you truly want without being envious of other people, like in a pure way, I guess, if that makes sense. We have to really get to a place where we're comfortable in our own lives and like take accountability for our actions and the things that we need to get done in order to get to the place that we want to get to, and even the place that God is trying to take us. There is so much more. Like I said, it's more than the surface level. There's spiritual warfare that is so real, that the people that are like in the on platforms and preaching, and I would say the ones that are actually teaching the Bible, they are going like, new levels, new devils kind of thing. I've heard that before. It's like the too much is given, much is required. So they're gonna go through more things than you would ever go through. And then when you think about it, you're not. I feel like people will not be able to walk in the shoes of the people that they're envious over. It's like there's room at the top for everybody. There's room in the kingdom for everybody. Everybody has their own specific gifts that um add to the puzzle. Like I talked about before, like there is literally pieces of the puzzle that are supposed to be in a specific place, and they're not gonna, like, the edge piece is not gonna fit in the middle because it's not supposed to be there. It's supposed to do its purpose by being on the edge. Like, you don't see them jealous of each other, but I really feel like, and I would say, for example, for me, I I really pray that nobody looks at my life and be like, I want to be her. I want what she has. Da da da. Because I mean, y'all really, this ain't something that I wanted to do. This is not what I wanted to do at all. I never expected myself to be a business owner or a on a video talking to people that I don't even. This thing is so scary because I have no idea who's watching me unless you tell me that you've seen it or you watched it. I'm not gonna know who you are. That is so. It's low-key very, very scary to me. And like, even with this, it's like today, like, I low-key, not today specifically, but getting into this specific episode, it was a struggle because I was mentally like, for the first two episodes, the first episode cool, second episode cool, third one, it's like I know what I want to talk about, but sometimes it's hard for me to really get my words in the right place, like how I want to say things or whatever. So I pray a lot about it because I know that this is something that God definitely called me to do. Because if He didn't, I wouldn't be doing this. I ain't even gonna lie to you, I would not be doing this. But it's like it's always a constant battle with my mind, and I constantly have to pray for God to give me provision and actually speak. Like I said before in not episode, but season one, where I'm always like, Lord, just use me as a vessel. Seriously, that's all I am, because this ain't me, I promise. But also, like, just seeing like the business aspect of this, and I'm gonna kind of go into like some depths of like what I actually went through when it came to this. Just to show you that it's not always surface. It's not always what you see it is. Like, by the grace of God, I make it look easy, or people make it look easy, but it's not easy. Spiritual warfare, like I said, it's real. The enemy hates us, and he does not want us to go after what God has for us. But if we're like always focusing on other people and what they're doing, we're going to miss our blessings. We're going to miss what God is trying to teach us in the midst of our wait. Because we all have like our own race to run. We all have our own trials to go through. We have our own families to take care of. And when people are being envious of others, like who has a house, who has a husband or a wife, or who has the dog, the white picket fence, the cars, and all that stuff, you don't know. You don't know, because some people, they will go in depth for that stuff. They will really go in debt for the stuff just to show people what they have. And if you're going after stuff that you're idolizing, you're just leading yourself into destruction. But I would say for me, with this business, and it's like I said, it's just to give y'all some more intel on like my journey to this, especially this entrepreneurship for real. So that's what I'm gonna kind of touch on. So like when I started doing this was something that like I set up before. Like I was super excited to do, because I know that this is something God called me to do, was just to be a business owner essentially. So when and I've heard over and over, like, God is gonna promise overflow and things like that. Like, beautiful. Like, this stuff sounds so good. Like, perfect. Lord, I see what you're doing. Like, you gonna use me, period. And so then it became a little tough, because like I'm used to like my steady paycheck, right? I'm used to being able to budget the way that I'm used to budgeting. But then when I started to have my own business, I wasn't even paying myself. Like I wasn't even able to bring home $1. Like I said before, there was nothing that was coming in for me. So it really humbled me. I ain't gonna lie to you. That pride that I had, stripped, crazy. Like stripped, nothing was there anymore. No type of sense of, baby, I'm humbled. Okay, the Lord has humbled me. And I'm grateful for it though, honestly, because now it is like I have no shame in asking for help. I have no shame in knowing that I can't do this alone. Because at this point, the enemy really tries to like isolate you, to get you to a place where like you feel like you don't need anybody, or nobody's going to understand, and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, that's not the truth. Don't believe it. So then I just remember like June was when I started it, of 2023, and I remember my first week that I had 4 appointments. Like, and I know I talked about this before, but just to reiterate, I have 4 appointments, and in my mind I'm like, dang, Lord, like you said for me to do this, and like I'm sorry, like where's the other appointments? And so it was just like that whole entire week, it was just like I was in a mindset of just doubting God. Like, Lord, is this really what you wanted me to do? Like, because none of this is showing me provision, none of this is showing me overflow, none of this is showing me anything, like. So I'm like, Lord, help me. Like I really was going through there was some times like in my mind, like it was really a fight. It was such a fight. It was so many tears. Oh my God, when I tell you, I cried like for the first 2-3 months of me opening this business, because it was just so like I'm pumping out all of this money that I do not have, and nothing is coming in. Like I'm not being like nothing is coming in. Like I don't know, by the grace of God, when I tell you, by the grace of God, I was able to like be able to buy myself anything. Like even down to like getting my nails done, bro. I was like, I just can't afford to keep up with it. Like I could possibly keep up with it now, but it's just like I'm gonna get back to it because these nails, they screaming. But it was just like I had to sacrifice things that I was used to like getting done. I had to sacrifice even living on my own, getting my nails done, little things like that, getting my hair done all the time. Like them braids I had, shout out to my best friend, she did them, and we just do service for service, because I was not able to afford to go to my actual, like my, I don't want to say actual, but the braider that would do my hair, because I didn't have the funds to do so. It was literally like, I used to, but then I didn't. It just became a point where like, Lord, I'm like I'm struggling. I'm not okay mentally right now, and I'm trying so hard to be, and it was just a lot. And I say all of that to say because I don't even remember. It could be more that I could bring up, but I can't remember. Like I don't know if there is or not, but I know that just like in the midst of all of that, like once I stopped doubting God and just remembering his the things that he called me to do. Like I know that this was something he wanted me to do. I know that he called me to do this. So even when the enemy tried to put doubt in my mind or try to do anything, try to make me think that everything that God was telling me was a lie, I had to just, renew my mind and just rebuke it because it was just like, nah, sir, we're not doing this. I'm not going back and forth with you. Like the Lord, my father told me exactly what he was going to do for me, and I'm going to believe every single word. And so that really grew my faith though. But I say all that to say, you have no idea what people go through. Some people even um, have have crazy bills, crazy light bills, crazy they like backed up on rent, backed up on whatever. And I ain't saying it to downplay nobody because I understand. I came from poverty. My parents came from came from I don't know how much they want me to say, but they didn't came up. Okay, when I tell you, so from what they had to what we have to what I'm bringing into this generation, there's nothing but the grace of God. But I'm saying you have no idea. People can really be struggling, and you thinking that the shoes that they got on, and the clothes that they got, and the car that they drive, and the house that they have, the relationship that they have, you have no idea first of all, what they went through, or even if that is real. Because people really will not pay a bill to buy some shoes, to buy something that is materialistic, not a priority. Like, people's mindsets are so messed up, and people are jealous of that. Like, they are envious of people that don't have, I don't know, the saying where they don't have a pot or a window. Like we people really be envious of folks like that. Like for why? Like if we would just sit there and just focus on what God has for us individually and for our families and the things that he wants us to focus on and the things that he's trying to teach us and the path that he has us on, everything when we seek him first, everything else will be added. So why are we complaining? Why are we comparing? Why are we trying to compete with people when there's literally room at the top for everybody? When I tell you it's billions and trillions of people in this world, everybody need their hair done. You think I'm trying to keep everybody? No, if I can't do their hair, if I can't do this stuff, I'm not. If I'm booked up and I'm not able to do that, I'm not squeezing them in. I'm going to send them to somebody else. You know why? Because there's room at the top for all of us. Like I don't have to sit here and be stingy and be greedy when it comes to the people that need their hair done. Like I'm not about to wear myself out because I want to get the money and I want to. No, it's okay. I promise you. Because at the end of the, like even when like for example with me still being helping out at the local salon that I was working at, it'll be times where in my week where like it'll be like 2 days that I just don't get booked appointments. But then they'll ask if I'm available for those exact 2 days because they need the help, right? It's like God is always going to provide for you. God is always going to make sure that you are going to have everything that you need. It might not be everything that you want, but it'll be everything that you need, especially in that time period. And for us to just focus on God and just for us to keep our minds stayed on him, staying steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the works of the Lord, for your labor will not be in vain. Just continue to keep pressing forward and keep pushing forward and keep taking it one day at a time where you're literally just focusing on what God has for you. When you focus on the things that God has for you and remembering the promises that he's told you, you're not going to even you'll know the difference between what the truths of God and the lies of the enemy. So when God has told you that you're gonna have this business, you're gonna be an entrepreneur, when you're gonna have overflow in your business, and then the enemy tries to come and be like, oh well, where they at? Because you only had one appointment this week. Where they at? Because ain't no money in your bank account. Like But my father said, like, I'm not worried about what you got. I'm not worried about what the next person has. I don't care if they fully booked. That's the thing too. Like, the things, like, if I see other people in my community and they're fully booked, what did you do to get fully booked? What was something that set you apart? What was something that helped you get to where you're at? What are some good things? What are some like pros and cons of what you've been through, what you had to go through, what you've learned in the meantime? Like, we can literally glean off people. We can learn from people, instead of trying to sit there and try to be better than them. No, ain't nobody better than nobody. I don't care. You may have more knowledge than others, but ain't nobody better than somebody else. I do not care. Your skill level might be nice, but at the same time, that person, if you get comfortable where you at, the person that's coming up from behind you can take your spot because you done got comfortable and complacent in your spot. They over there still working hard day and night, night and day, and you over here sleeping. I ain't saying don't get no rest, but you over there sleeping on them when they about to take probably your clients or your stuff because you're sitting there trying to be better or thinking you better than somebody and you're not. Humble yourself. Just humble yourself. Because at the end of the day, we all need each other. We don't do life alone. At the end of the day, you're going to need somebody to help you with something. You can't do it by yourself. You can't do nothing alone in this world by yourself because you just can't. And for the believers, I got this book, the 60-day devotional by Jackie Hill Perry. I'm pretty sure some of y'all already know who she is, but she's amazing. Y'all can go look her up. But anyway, there was a few things in this two of these devotionals that just really stood out to me. This episode I wanted to record when I recorded episode 2, but it was just like I didn't. And I really didn't have like a reason to not to, but I understand why the Lord had me to wait, because the 2 devotionals that I ended up reading the following 2 days really talked on the topic of comparison and jealousy, right? So for this one, it talks about the verse Matthew 16:26. What good, and it's in the NIV version, what good will it be for someone to gain the whole world yet forfeit their soul? It's like we literally try to focus on the things that other people have, and we know they're not believers, and we know that they don't believe in the Lord. We know that they denounced or just don't believe in God, and we do, and yet they getting all the things that we want. I'm sorry. But that don't sit right with me, Lord. I don't understand. But the thing is, like, if you actually read your word, and I'm not trying to condemn, but everybody, we need to get into our words, because literally the things that we talk about and we think about are in the Bible. Like, we really need to get into our word, because, like, even when you really read, like, even Jeremiah had the same question, like, why does the way of the wicked prosper? Why do all who are treacherous thrive? Like, I remember reading that, I was like, bro, he even asks the same questions, like, because, like, we'll literally, like, Lord, I love you. I sit here, I go to church every week, I pray to you every day, I worship you every day, daily. I do my best to stay in your word, stay in touch with you, God, and I'm asking for your things, and I'm believing, I'm standing on the word, I'm doing the things that you've told me to do, and yet I still see no overflow, and yet I still see no provision. But yet there's millionaires and billionaires that are literally blaspheming your name, that are mocking you. Like, how are they getting blessed with that type of stuff, and I'm not? Like, I'm not saying I said exactly that, but, like, people, we really have that mindset. And she says in here a really good thing. I'm trying to see. Okay, so right here, the trials of life might not lift when the suffering saints refocus their gaze, but they become wise as a result, able to see grace everywhere. If the wicked don't have God, even if they have everything, they have nothing. So just remember that as well. Just throwing that little piece in there. And then on the next day, she was talking about just being giving thanks in all circumstances. Talking about how jealousy is sinister in its origin and destructive in its application, which is so so true. It's so crazy to think of it that way. But oh, this is the one. This the one right here. I ain't even gonna lie. I had to say that a couple times because when I tell you, when I was reading this, I almost threw the book across the room. Actually, in the car because I was in the car reading this. But this right here. Okay, just listen. Another truth is this: you do not have because you don't ask. You ask and do not receive, yet you ask wrongly to spend it on your passions. Some of the things you don't have because you've never asked, meaning a pattern of prayerful petition is a way to resist jealousy. If God gave, then God gives. Just in case you don't ask and don't receive, consider it protection. There are some things that God has withheld because what was a blessing for others might be a curse to you. God knows you better than you do, so be careful of coveting gifts you haven't been graced for. Instead, look up, around, and within, and grow in thankfulness for all the good gifts you have received from the Father of lights. Do you have a body with gifts in a right mind? Tell God thank you. Do you have a Christian community, a family, a blue sky to live under? Tell God thank you. Do you have a heart made flesh, a soul made right, and a union with Christ? Tell God thank you. Another part of this book, it was beautiful. I love the way she said it. It is simply, oh, hold on, let me go up some. She talks about how you would see other people, like if you like how you'll see other people and they're being blessed, right? And they're also believers and stuff and all of that good stuff. And then she talks and she says, it is simply that God is sovereign. Oh, and wonder, okay. You will look at like other people and wanting what they have, right? And just wondering like, Lord, how they get that and I don't get that. Like we both do this, we both are on the same level, I feel like in our Christianity maturity type blah. But then she says, it is simply that God is, in his sovereign wisdom, has the right to give one green grass and see the other greener grass. Neither yard suggests more or less care on the part of God. So, like, even if others are getting what you want, even if they're in the kingdom, God knows what he's doing. God knows exactly what he's doing. God knows why he can't give you something because we will literally ask God for something and then idolize with the gift that he's given us. Like we'll forget God. And I know people hear that a lot because I hear it a lot too, but it's true. Like when God gives you, if you're asking for a job or income increase or whatever, and he blesses you with it, and then you so worried now you don't know how to steward your money no more. Now you spending that extra money on nothing, on crazy stuff. For why? Like you're not stewarding it the same way that you stewarded it before. You would have more money if you didn't go crazy with the extra funds that he gave you. Or the biggest one is marriage, bro. The biggest one that we ask God for, marriage. I feel like we look at couples nowadays and we want what they have, right? We want to have that. If you're a Christian, you want that godly marriage. You want that husband that loves you like Christ loved the church. The wife that respects you, and submits to you. And the wives, we want the men who submit to the Lord. So we can easily submit to them because y'all be throwing submission all over the place. And I need y'all to read the word because it says for us to submit to our husbands as he submits unto the Lord. So if you want a wife to submit to you, especially in a godly way, we not yes women. Yes women. I'm not gonna sit here and say yes to everything, but I'm definitely gonna respect and like if I'm supposed to submit like the Lord tells me to, but I need you to submit to the Lord like he tells you to. You feel me? So we look at what the dresses and the beautiful flowers and things like that and want the wedding more than the marriage. And then sometimes we even want the man or the woman or whatever, we want the marriage. And when God blesses us with that person, we stop reading our word. We stop reading our devotionals. We stop praying so much. We stop worshiping God because now us the time that we used to take with God, we are giving that time to said person, right? And so when God is, like she said, he's so sovereign in his authority to give us the things that he knows, that to give us the things that are for us. But when you delight yourself in the Lord, he'll give you the desires of your heart. So I know we heard that. So that just means for you to have that intimate relationship with God. And so when you start to have that intimate relationship with God, he's going to give you the desires of your hearts. Like if you want to be married, if you want to be a mom, a dad, if you want to be an entrepreneur, whatever he calls you to do and the things that he put on your heart, he's going to do that. But you cannot put that in place of God, because it's not going to sustain without God. He gave it to you, so he knows what else you're going to need with that. So you always have to make sure you are humbling yourself, staying on your path and your lane, and not looking to the left and to the right. Because even when, like, say for me, for example, like if I'm giving another entrepreneur some advice, at the end of the day, do what God told you to do. Don't sit there and do what I'm telling you. I'm telling you from my experience and what God has led me to do. If it's similar to yours, that's a blessing. That's amazing. But at the end of the day, whatever God told you to do is what you need to do. Not because, don't get a salon suite because I got a salon suite. Get a salon suite because the Lord has told you and he saw fit for you to do so, because he can bless you with it. He can trust you with it. God will not give you something that he knows that you're going to put above him. He's not going to put something that you in front of you that you're going to idolize, because it will destroy you. He is so sovereign and so gracious and merciful that he's not going to give you something. He loves you too much to give you something that's going to destroy you. It's like allowing your 2-year-old to run around with a knife. He thinks it's shiny, it's pretty, he wants it. So you just going to let him run around with it? No. Because he can trip, fall, cut himself, cut somebody else, hurt something. It can be destructive in the 2-year-old's hand. But when you're older and you're mature enough to be able to start holding a knife and cutting your food by yourself, that's when it's okay for you to be like, okay, you're old enough, you're more mature enough to be able to do it. You know how to use this. You know how to use that gift. You know how to use this tool. I'm not going to give it to my 5-year-old nephew. Like, it's that simple. Like, it's simpler, but and then just like a 2-year-old had throwing a hissy fit because he can't have something that's going to destroy him, that could possibly hurt him or inflict pain on him in a very traumatic way. And it could be a detrimental way. Like, God is not, he's so good. Like, he's not going to do that to us. If you get the gift of, and especially I can speak for myself, when I got my first car, like my dad was big. When I got my first car, I skipped a Sunday and went to KD. Like, I used to stay at KD. I don't go no more. I wouldn't mind going again, but I think it's just like low key played out for me. But I would go to take like my family or whatever. But I went there, and my dad was like, "God bless you with that. Don't like." I don't remember exactly what he said, but he said something along the lines of like, "Don't if like God bless you with that. Like, don't take God out of the picture." It wasn't exactly that, because this was 8 years ago. Jesus, but I just know that, like, when God blesses you with something, you got to make sure you still have God before that. Like, if you are in a relationship with somebody, um, before anything, you still need to go to God. Because that person is not your God. That person did not die on Calvary and save your soul from going to hell. So I'm going to need y'all to not idolize these people, idolize clothes or fashion or a car or a job or people in general. Always, there should be no God above God. There is no God above God, Jesus, our Lord and our Savior. There's no way that you will be able to just live a joyous life, a peaceful life, without the presence of God in your life. Because he gives us peace, he gives us joy, he gives us love. He is love. So, and I just want y'all to, like, really look at your life, examine yourself, and allow God to show you what he wants for you, what he has for you. Because it may be similar to the next person, or you may even, it's okay to have desires. It's okay to want stuff. It's really okay, because I want to be wife. I want to be a wife. I want to be married. I want to be a wife. I want to be a mom. I want to do these things. I want to be a better sister, a better I would say mom, Jesus, a better like aunt. Like, I do want these things. I want a new car. I want to build a house one day. Like I want these things. I want a bigger salon. Like I have big dreams for these things. But I know that it's not going to be possible without keeping God at the center, without keeping God at the forefront, without seeking the kingdom first. I need to make sure that I stay and posture myself humbly unto the Lord in order for Him to exalt me when it's time. If it's not my time, I'm going to congratulate everybody that is in the position that I want to be in. And I'm I'm no hater. I don't want what somebody else has. I got my own stuff to worry about. Like my brother even asked me, I know this is random, but he asked me if I knew about the beef that was going on with like J. Cole and all them. I'm like, not one of them pay my bills, so no, I don't keep up with that stuff. Like honestly, I don't. So I do not keep up with the celebrity. I don't care, cause what they about to do for me? Nothing. Unless y'all giving me some money, I may care a little bit, but I'm not worried about them. I'm worried about what the Lord got for me, what He said for me to do. It's easier to worry about, not even worry, because He tells us not to worry, just knowing like God got you. Stop wanting what the next person has. God has you. He has a plan for you specifically. He has a plan for you and your family. And it's not always about you. It's actually never about you. Because what I'm starting right now with this business, this is generational. This is generational. Like what he started in my parents when they were breaking their generational cycles, they broke them in our generation. So now I'm breaking my generational cycles, and I'm going to continue to just give out generational blessings from now on. There's no more curses in this family. It ended with me. We not ever gonna live in poverty. None of that. We ain't doing none of that. I'm not in. I just said that to say like we're going. It's not about you. Y'all thinking like the clothes y'all wear and the way that your life looks on Instagram or social media is what it's about. It's never about you. It's about the glory of the Lord and how many souls that you really can touch. Like, it's never about you. None of this is about me. I will never take the credit. I will never try to get the glory for anything that has happened in my life, even down to getting the strength to leave that relationship, the faith to the faith to have to open up this business and to continue this business, and just the spirit of humbleness and the spirit of like allowing God to just come in and show me things that I need to work on, I need to fix or whatever. But it ain't always, it's never about you. So stop thinking people really paying that close attention, because ain't nobody looking at you that hard, sis. I promise. And I say that out of love. I really hope that I receive what I said with love, honestly, because I'm not trying to talk down on anybody, because that's the last thing, very last thing that I would want to do. I just want us all to live life, not just sit and work all the time. That's not what we're supposed to do. That I actually gonna be touching that. We're gonna be talking about rest in the next episode, because we really gotta learn how to take care of ourselves and actually take the time to rest, because God rested, so He showed us that it's okay. But I really, 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 truly pray that y'all got something out of this episode, because the only way to like really love life is worrying about yours and not worrying about somebody else and what they got going on and what they doing. Like I said, learn from them, glean off of them, and just do what the Lord is telling you to do. Always seek the kingdom. I think that's just gonna be our verse for this season. Just seek the kingdom and its righteousness, and all of these things will be added unto you. That's Matthew chapter 6, verse 33. If y'all want to ever like study it or whatever. But again, I think I'm gonna go ahead and end this episode. Pray that y'all got something out of it. Love y'all. Bye y'all. See y'all next time.